Good evening, everyone. I see that this week again that the live chat is there. If somebody would please be willing just to let me know if the audio is adequate. That would be very helpful because I can't get a sense of it. Let's see. Anything? Can you hear me? As soon as I get confirmation, then I'll continue. Okay, they're coming in. They're rolling in. All good. Audio good. Yeah, lots of thumbs up. Thank you very much, everyone. You're my techie, my tech support team. So yeah, I'll say good evening, but I don't know where everybody's joining in from. So perhaps it's different times of the day. And this is one of the marvelous things about the internet is that we can connect across the globe, across time zones, and we can join in together. I see people saying from Canada, Ireland, different places. This is marvelous that we're joining together with the common goal of peace. We're interested in peace, and we're proactively developing peace. And this is, I think, a marvelous thing. And there are so many people around the world doing this. So many. And it's very easy for us to get kind of squashed by bad news. But there is good news. And there are marvelous people around the world, in every single corner of the world. Every corner. And this particular practice that we're doing, I see 20 people joined in so far, 20 people. And it's a marvelous gift that we're giving ourselves to take time out to practice meditation, to reflect on our inner experience and how we fit into the outer world. Because meditation is not just about creating just benefiting our inner world, but by benefiting the inner, we benefit the outer. It's the ripple effect of peacefulness, of calm, of insight, of understanding. And it ripples outward, whether we ever talk about it, whether we ever do anything it's deemed special. This is actually the specialness, is it? It's just you get a feeling around people of safety, of trust, of calmness, steadiness. And this is a great gift. Gift to ourselves, gift to others. So just a quick update. For those of you, maybe some of you dialed, I recognize some of the names from last week, but we're in a very strict lockdown here at Chithurst Buddhist Monastery still, because there's a small outbreak. We're 33 people living here right now, and so far we've only identified 3 positive COVID cases. So yeah, it's not bad. And the 2 cases that are still here, one lives very nearby. They were here supporting us, very generously supporting us as a member of our lay support team. And they live close enough by in an empty home that it was they deemed it appropriate to just quickly go there. And they were also not very unwell at all. But the 2 cases here are doing exceptionally well. One gets to come out tomorrow. We're letting him come out. We're applying a 14-day isolation, not the 10-day government one, but a 14-day one. And then the other one gets to come out on Saturday. And so they're both doing exceptionally well. And so happy to report that. And if no other cases come in, then we'll give it another. Probably won't open up again until the end of September, near the end of September, just to be safe. So we're not sharing things we don't want to share with our visitors. So go well. And so, like the rest of the world, we're just learning to live with this big change in everyone's life. It's what corner of the world has not been affected by pandemic. And this is very rich fuel for practice. This is I feel very rich fuel. Just really highlighting the fragility of the world. And that's not meant to be a statement to frighten. That's meant to be a statement to reflect on. It's just a reflection. It's not an absolute. It's just, it's the world can seem so, at times, so solid and steady and predictable. And in so many ways, it's understandable that we feel that way, because for long periods of time, things can seemingly not be changing. And then something like this, just a total, to use, I was never a baseball fan, but to use a baseball term, it's a real curveball. It fooled us into thinking, who saw this coming, apart from some virologists or people working in that field would, they're probably more in tune with the possibility of this happening, obviously. So, but for practice, it's rich. It's really rich, and it gives us the opportunity to maybe see certain attachments that we might not see. Because as the Buddha taught in what's considered his very first teaching, the setting in motion the wheel of Dhamma, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, that the cause of stress, unsatisfactoriness, and suffering is craving, desire, clinging. We're grasping at something and not getting it, we're grasping at the idea we need to get something, or grasping at something we've got, or pushing away what we've got that we don't want, or keeping it away, trying to just barricade ourselves. So it's a sort of fourfold dynamic. And so either acquiring, pulling in, grabbing to get, holding, keeping it, pushing it away, or keeping it away. So I use the body to demonstrate that, because it's a very simple equation, and it also, because gives us another chance to try and remember this. And this applies to everything. I mean, take away the word pandemic. It applies to any discontent, any real sense of unsatisfactoriness or lack, profound sense of lack, or not even profound, just a sense of lack, suffering, stress. It applies to all of it. And it applies not just to things, but also to relationships. It applies to ourselves. If we're discontent with the way we are, the way we perceive ourselves as a person, or we trying to create a certain persona to put out there, to put out there, and believing that, it's the belief in those things that gets really, where it gets very sticky and tricky and embroiled. And it's when we base our well-being, our happiness, on acquiring the things we want and getting rid of the things we don't want, that's where the stress really becomes evident. So I like to remind all of us, including me, all of us, that it's not that we never try to get anything or do anything or be anything, but it's or that it's not that we don't try to get rid of anything or change things that aren't going well. Of course we do, but we do it more in terms of right effort, with understanding through the eyes of Dharma, is that we understand what we're doing, and we're not building an identity around that or building our life on success. We're not building our life on getting it to be the way we want. Put in the effort, and then it's the same as you put in the effort and you're just letting go at the same time. So meditation tonight is our guided meditation. I thought I'd plant a few seeds there in terms of reflection, and just as a reminder also to all of us that of at least the way excuse me, the way I understand meditation practice, because it has so many different applications or ways of looking at it, ways of practicing it, is that it's the method and not the goal. So getting, quote unquote, getting good at meditation is not the goal. Developing circumspection, often referred to as wisdom, intuitive wisdom, and developing the heart that's always letting go, never clinging, and the heart that recognizes clinging and immediately lets go, the mind that recognizes the clinging and lets go. So that's the goal. So this unshakable, unconditional peace, so that we can endure whatever comes our way. And as I like to point out, you feel it. It doesn't nullify it. It doesn't turn us into zombies or unfeeling robots. No, you feel it, but you feel it with panya, Pali word panya, wisdom, circumspection. You can handle it. You can deal with it. You don't make a problem out of a problem. We don't make compound problems with more being problematic around it. And this is a life's work. This is life's work, and so to really encourage all of us to not be in a hurry, to be patient, to develop patience. And as the Buddha himself said, patience is the highest virtue, supreme, because then we can endure, not with gritted teeth, but we can endure the ups and downs and that vicissitudes of life, that back and forth of life, the joys and sorrows. We can endure that and keep going and learn from everything. But meditation is a wonderful method, because we, by quieting our bodily and emotional and mental activities, we can then see more clearly what we're doing internally. So it's a way of allowing a settling of the mind and heart, even just a little bit, or even just having the opportunity to watch and observe and be witness to the completely unsettled mind and heart, to be the witness instead of being in the thick of it, where we've stepped back and we're watching it, observing, as I said, witnessing. And that gives us just that little bit of separation from it. And that can be, once we start to taste that, that can be very, very helpful. Because then it's not just, excuse me, it's not just in meditation, formal meditation, that we are able to do that, but we can do that 24/7. So then, as we're getting, maybe embroiled in something quite complicated, or maybe there's something, unpleasant or difficult, we can be witnessing that at the same time, as well as being engaged, fully engaged in that, not having to just sit down and be witness with our eyes closed or do walking meditation, but we can be witness to our emotions and thoughts and feelings, as as I guess they say, in real time. And then then it really is 24/7 practice. So I think I've probably said more than enough, and so I'll take us through some guided meditation for the next while. And a lot of this will be repeated encouragements or suggestions. These are just suggestions. There's lots of ways to meditate. But this is what we'll be doing tonight. So, as with all sessions of meditation, it's very useful to first establish posture. A posture that's conducive for us, that's possible for us. So this evening I'm sitting on one of those kneeling stools on wheels. But I'm not sitting on it with my knees touching the lower part. I've got my feet actually straddling, and my feet firmly on the ground, so I have a sense of groundedness. And whether we're sitting on a cushion or a chair or something similar to me, or a little bench, we want to establish an upright, poised, yet relaxed posture. So upright meaning we're not leaning forward, not leaning back or side to side. And as I mentioned last week, try to imagine aligning your ear canal, center of the shoulder, center of the hip socket. So those three things are in line. Now, obviously we can't see this, but if we keep that in our mind's eye, it's very helpful, once we've established a posture, to take 2 or 3 deep breaths, just to allow all the air in and out, fully exhale. It's good to limit this to just 2 or 3 breaths, because otherwise we can start to hyperventilate. And now just let the breath settle to its normal present rhythm, which will change, always changing. Perhaps take some moments to do a scan of the body. Just scan and check for any, excuse me, any residual unnecessary holding, tension. And if we do find a place on our body that's feeling tight or blocked, just place the attention there and consciously relax. Consciously try to relax that particular area, soften. So, this idea of being poised yet relaxed, open, open to whatever we're experiencing right now in this moment. So, let's take some minutes of just establishing our attention on the breath. Be the witness of the in breath and the witness of the out breath. So, this is not a tight concentration. This is not trying to exclude all other sensory experience, but our primary attention is on the breath, wherever you feel it easiest, whichever part of the body is simple and easy for you. And just noticing the breath, one breath at a time. And we'll do this for several minutes. And we're cultivating this openness, awareness, witnessing, witnessing the breath, witnessing thoughts that will arise, feelings, feelings of pleasure, feelings of discomfort or pain. Perhaps different emotions arise. This is what we are as humans. We have this whole realm of emotion, thoughts, feelings. That's normal. And by using a method like meditation, developing this ability to bear witness, to learn how to not only witness, but to be that impartial witness, the impartial observer. Non-judgmental. However, if we do notice thoughts of judging, thoughts of bias, these too are to be witnessed and treated in the same way. In terms of Dhamma, all of these things that arise in consciousness can be treated equally. They're all to be witnessed and to be seen through, to see through any thoughts of permanence, to witness the impermanence of all things. Not to believe that, but to actually experience it and penetrate that. To fully penetrate with wisdom and through our own experience to see that all things are unsatisfactory. They can only be temporarily satisfying. That's their very nature. So a meditation like this is actually quite engaged. As I said a few minutes ago, it's not about just nullifying or blanking the mind, but it's about seeing the mind, seeing the heart, seeing where we're grasping and developing the ability to let go. So let's go back into several minutes of silence, reestablishing our gentle attention, our awareness on the breath. Keep a nice broad, open, unconstricted awareness, unobstructed awareness of the breath. And anything else that arises, recognize that, and then gently return to the breath. Often the big question that's asked about letting go, this phrase, to let go. And the question asked is, I keep trying to let go, but it's still there, or it keeps coming back, the thing I'm wishing to let go of. It's a good question. And one thing I keep reminding myself of is letting go doesn't mean non-presence. So I use the phrase non-grasping doesn't mean non-presence. That doesn't mean that it will be present, that it necessarily will be present. And things can fade away and then return. But if we take away that expectation or demand for things that we don't want to then not be present, that's a really big ask. Is that a realistic goal or demand, expectation? Or can we coexist? Can we be with something and just simply not be clinging or grasping at the idea that we need to keep it or get rid of it? And the way I practice with this is that when I am able to do this, when my mindfulness is tuned in, when I'm able to hold things without clinging, then the obstructions drop away. The problem drops away, because the problem was not so much in the experience, but in the grasping. Oftentimes our stress, a lot of our stress is just based on fear, anxiety, things in the future, projections of what we think might happen or will happen, projections of what people think of us, projections of the way we think other people should be, all sorts of things. It's quite endless, actually. So if we can learn to abide with the wanted, with the delightful, and not feel like we have to hang on to it forever, and can we just gently cultivate it, nurture it, but also understand that it too will fade and pass away? Can we coexist with the unwanted, still putting in effort maybe to usher things along, make changes, wholesome changes that don't affect other people adversely, Can we do that and yet not have to fulfill our wish? Can we coexist with unfulfilled wishes? And when we do this, it really opens up. The heart opens, the mind opens, fear drops away, anxiety drops away, even if it's just momentarily, temporarily, because this is a practice. This is, as I said towards the beginning of the session this evening, this is a life's work. So then the controlling of experience drops away. We're no longer having to control our heart, control our mind, control other people, control situations. We put in effort. It's not about just laying down and letting the world walk over us, roll over us. No, we can affect our surroundings, but if we can do that in a way that's not self-centered, if we can learn to drop the me and mine, I, and broaden our vision, and then peace gets established, gets recognized. So let's take some more minutes in silence. Once again, establishing the attention wherever we're noticing the breath easiest. That's home. And then whatever else arises, be open to that, be it thoughts, feelings, emotions, sounds, any sort of sensory experience, be open to that. So this broad awareness. So let's take some time. So just some parting thoughts before we log off or go our separate ways. The way I practice meditation is not to create an experience or achieve a certain experience, but to learn to witness and observe experience, to develop a way of holding experience. And we can create experiences. We spend a lot of time doing that. We're taught that from very, very, very young age. And there's nothing, well, I shouldn't say nothing. It depends on what the experience is. You know, it could, I was going to say there's nothing fundamentally wrong with that, but if one is creating unwholesome experience for ourselves and others, then yeah, that's not to be cultivated. So it's very easy to fall into maybe trap is a little bit too strong a word, but to fall into a habit of trying to create meditative experiences, particular experiences, instead of just applying the method and noticing, witnessing what experiences arise. And I know I definitely, I spent years trying to recreate pleasant meditative experiences that I had very early on. Kept trying to just recreate them. And by doing that, I set myself up for disappointment because they weren't happening. So I was creating suffering and stress out of something that before I took on meditation just wasn't even a part of my life. There was no stress around that at all because I just didn't know about it. So if we can change our view is the way I find most fruitful in currently with my practice, is to just here again this openness, non-expectations, or if I have expectations, I recognize them. Oh, this is an expectation. I have expectations around this. And just by that mere recognizing that loosens the grip, because I think, oh, right, okay, well, you can have the expectation, but that's all it is. It's not for sure. So like when I get up in the morning, here at this monastery, we're incredibly well supported with food. And, I expect that, the lay team and is going to put out breakfast. But what if everything goes wobbly and pear-shaped and they're not able to? So it's just, this is an expectation. This is and to hold it lightly. And we can apply this to really, I feel, everything. Just hold things just that little bit more lightly. Doesn't mean we don't take things seriously. Of course we do. There's a lot. There's things we should take very, very seriously. Of course. And we have this ability, but even the most serious thing, to hold it in a way that's sustainable. to hold our life experience in a way that's sustainable and liberating, not constricting or obstructed. So on those final thoughts, I'll wish everyone well and encourage all of us to keep practicing. If we can just take even a few minutes, if we don't have too much time or energy, even just a few minutes each day to be quiet, to switch off things, switch off activity, switch off gadgets, switch off intentional input, and take time to be quiet and to witness the heart and mind. So I'll close there. Okay.